Namaste, angels. This is a client reading for somebody who watches my videos, of course. That's how she came to find me. But we would communicate like on the videos and when I do my lives, which is every week. I do when I post my weekly general reading and the weekly love reading. Ever since YouTube gave me the ability to participate in this, what was at the time at least, a pilot program of you pre-record a video and then you watch it with your viewers, you know, as many of them want to join. And so she does that, and we would talk during the video chat because I give people an opportunity to, you know, ask me whatever they want to ask me. So it's not it's a public reading, it's not a private reading, but you do get those private or personal, not private, it's public, but you do get personal questions answered or to discuss things with not just me, but, you know, other viewers, and people get to provide each other support and conversation and all that. And so she's one of those. And we did find in common that when I hear these Teddy Pendergrass songs, she tends to hear them too. And there are additional connections to Teddy Pendergrass in her union. So, you know, she was excited to be able to get a reading from me. I was excited to be reading for her. And like when I first got the order, I under normal circumstances, without any karmic energy or act of God or random who knows what going on, I like to do my readings like the Saturday following. So like the next week by the Saturday, I like to do whatever readings I've received during a week, right? And I would have done hers, and it would have been kind of early, you know, like I would have tried to rush it to include it in, let's say she ordered Friday night. I'm just going off the top of my head. And I would have wanted it to do it Saturday. I remember wanting to do hers like right away. For whatever reason, I didn't. And then one of the things that I had realized, well, it was around that same time was the anniversary of Teddy Pendergrass's death. And I was like, oh, like it really would be cool to do it right now. And I wanted to do hers then. Sometimes there is, let's say I get a bunch of reading, let's say 10, whatever. There's one person in there, everybody else could get their reading, some people can get it early, some whatever. There's, you know, often like one person that the universe doesn't want me to do theirs yet. And I don't get told why, and I don't even necessarily get told like in a conscious way, you're not going to do this one, you know. I just get handed other stuff to do. And then I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So that happened. And then, when I was to, I guess, under the normal circumstances, not early or anything, do her reading, finally, I heard from her. So we ended up speaking that day. And this was like January 26th. So, like a week and a half ago, right? This is the first week of February. We're about to enter the second week of February. So we're talking about the last week of January. I spoke to her, and she was asking a question, and I answered the question, and I said, well, we'll see what comes up, because I had every intention of doing her reading then. And maybe because of the question, again, I was not able to do this reading. I'm doing it now. What was the question? Well, she has a twin flame, or who she believes to be, you know, her divine masculine, the person with whom she is part of a divine union, a Libra. She's a Leo. And she has a soulmate also, who's a Virgo, dating her former best friend, who's an Aries. And she's very much concerned with this Virgo that's a soulmate. And so we talked about that. And I'm thinking that maybe she needed some time to get through that after. I mean, she agreed with my answer to her, which was basically, if you believe this other person to be your divine masculine, I'm not sure why you care what's going on with the soulmate. I understand that a form of friendship was lost, was violated and lost, maybe in two instances, both the soulmate and the, female friend. But this is what's meant by, let's say, for example, the Five of Cups, where we don't realize the good that's happening in it. Maybe that went on because that's their divine union. If you don't believe that person, if you believe them a karmic, then could possibly be somebody else's divine partner, not karmic, which frees you up to be with yours. So rather than looking at that situation only as a negative and, being concerned for what their status is, as if you're still going to try to continue something with this gentleman, look at it as a positive, because it frees your energy. It cuts the cord for you if you allow it. You hold on to the cord because still talking about these feelings that the two of you have for each other. Then you are basically fighting like the energy of death. Death comes to try to move us to transition to a new phase. But when we fight it, it's like we continue to hold on to that cord that connects us. And then we get pulled into more of the energy of the devil, where we're doing ourselves like a toxic disservice. So now with all that said, that's into what I'm going to look into, beginning with the twin flame, the person with whom she believes herself to be a divine union. So I had my dice on the table because I was going to record the weekly general, and then I said, no, wait a minute, what am I doing? And I remembered. So obviously I'm being allowed to do it. It is time that I finally move forward. We're going to start with transients. And so again, I'm going to be looking into the divine masculine, the Libra. I'm not putting any energy into the Virgo. If the Virgo wants to show up, then that's fine. But I'm not going to feed that connection. All right, opening to reflection, which is about stuff like this, right? Looking at your life and, making free will choices. Reflection. And working on the relationship that you have with yourself. So, you are enabled stronger and better for your journey ahead with other people. And balance. This card is very temperance-like for me. In the tarot, temperance represents the sign of Sagittarius. I don't think there's any Sagittarians involved. Again, there are air signs. However, there's a Libra that I'm looking into now. And it's funny because that this water is showing up here, because I saw quite a bit of water as I was shuffling, and I'm like, who's the water sign? But maybe it's somebody's, moon or rising, that I'm not aware of. In any case, this card tends to be connected to communication too, or the desire to communicate. And you see this man looks like he's unable to speak. I mean, not that anybody's muting him, but he looks like he's holding back, and he needs like the healing first. I mean, he needs to work on the relationship with himself first, and so that he can get these words out of his mouth. They're like stuck here, but he's got these little spheres very strategically placed over his throat chakra, his third eye chakra, his crown chakra. So those are communication centers also, and very air sign, Gemini, Libra, like the masculine, and Aquarius. Relationship and celebration. So this tends to be a positive card. Can be coming to some sort of epiphany about yourself, which I said she agreed with everything I said to her, so that she may have continued to work on that and other things, and coming to some realizations and decisions about what she wanted in her life, her goals, her dreams, her plans for a relationship, with whom, and how to go about fulfilling her desires. And now I will cut. Boom, right away. Here comes Moon Tree. Moon Tree is a card of sacred marriage. So when it pops up, it tends to be indicative of the connection between the people for whom I'm reading. And the overall energy is the Mystic, which can also be about air and water signs. Of the air signs, most specifically Aquarius, because of the star representative of the sign of Aquarius in the tarot. But all the air signs nonetheless. So again, the Libra as well as Gemini. And it is another card connected to, thereby, because of the air signs, communication. Especially like telepathy and your communication, your individual personal communication with the universe, your guides, your ancestors, your guardians, in using your intuition and any other mechanisms or gifts that you may have to receive information. The Mystic is very high priestess-like. And so you're meant to pay attention to your intellect, your wisdom, your intuition, gut feelings, and all those things in deciding what your next moves will be. Divine Feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine and himself, and the union as a whole. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine do, surrender, contribute toward the union, what he himself is willing to, what the universe would have the two do, but this is one that doesn't just come automatically. It's something to which you have to affirm, and then the universe will give you full support, and the outcome. Divine Feminine, spiritual growth. So, and look at all this fire, all this red, right? So that's definitely your energy there. And I think that this is attached to what we discussed, as well as, you know, other aspects of your growth, other decisions you're needing to make, realizations to which you're coming, you know, epiphanies that you're having, episodes you're experiencing in your life, and you're having to, you know, allow change and face challenge and all of that. And all culminates in something like spiritual growth. And you may have felt a lot of this, particularly around that Leo full moon and full lunar eclipse. So that was in your sign, but also I'm drawn to the moon that's here behind this red-winged angel. So she is very fire sign herself, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, sitting, you know, atop this red pool, you know, that begins to look like roses blossoming. So, yeah, and you could still be feeling that energy, although we've already had the new moon in Aquarius since. Eclipses, that energy stays around pretty long, you know, about 6 months. So, you know, really haven't been strengthened by it, and maybe continuing to be. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, it is all your fire here, and there's message from afar. So if there's distance between you, be it physical or a separation, and I was kind of sensing separation as I was shuffling, because that is one thing, that's one thing that we didn't discuss, like what the status of you in the masculine was. But, you know, honestly, I did feel that. But even if there is no physical separation, if there was like distance between you, yeah, I definitely feel that it's physical separation. But again, even if it's not, and there's just like distance, this is, you know, broadened communication, deeper communication, more meaningful, to bridge the gap. So we just saw on the other card, it looked like the masculine had something to say, but he was having trouble getting it out. And here the desire is showing up again, and more of this fire. So this is the masculine as it relates to you. He's showing up here in your element, expressing a need for communication and a desire for communication, deeper again, more meaningful contact. Masculine about himself, maybe why he hasn't spoken up yet. We'll see. Oh, no. This is as it relates to, you know, himself in this situation, though. And he is seeing it as eternal flame. So he's in the right place. It doesn't explain why we haven't heard from him, if we haven't, or why we haven't been able to have the deep conversation he's wanted to have yet. But he is expressing an infinite connection. And the union as a whole, heaven on earth, and look at what we have here. Union as a whole, air and fire. But this card represents the need to let go of something that is taking up the space of, you know, what is meant to be there. So maybe something taking up the space of your union, like a soulmate on your side, perhaps on his side too. The purpose of the reflection in either case, or both, is again to look at your life and decide what it is you want. And then using the information with which you're blessed and the means of obtaining it, what the next step should be in acquiring those goals. If you want the union here, you're going to have to vacate the space so that the union can come into it. The space is full. Space is taken up by other stuff onto which you and or he are holding. Overall, forgiveness is in order. You can ask for it, express it to the other. Right? We may be on the seeking end, we may be on the giving end. What's most appropriate typically is both. What the masculine would have the feminine do, contribute, surrender, whatever, toward the union. And it is, again, at least a deep connection. So even if there was no physical connection, and we're not, you know, even if we don't get to see each other or whatever, there's still means of connection on a deeper spiritual level. Again, telepathy, and sometimes you can just feel people in your heart. Sometimes you can feel physical touch and stuff. And you know, he just wants you to be open to that. And we have it here, crossing the message from afar. So again, that message could come in telepathically. If it's not a 3D, like long distance call. But the masculine himself willing to do work on his relationship with himself. This is the card that I was talking about a minute ago when I said the purpose of the reflection is so that you can figure, you know, this out. And that allows you to decide what you want here and what you don't. What the universe would have the to do, but you will have to affirm to it. Transmutation, letting go of anything negative, toxic connections, you know, onto what you're holding, or negative emotions, the inability to forgive, maybe regret, resentment, any of that kind of stuff, whatever it is, letting go of it, and letting it be replaced with love. So talking about taking something, you know, that's vacant, that's taking up a space, and getting rid of it so that the good thing can come in. It's like taking out the trash, the negative emotion, so that the good stuff, the love, can come in, replacing it with love. Funky stuff is taking up love's space. So that's what transmutation is about. And the outcome. Boom! Soulmate. So in this one spread, you've already seen the moon tree, and the outcome is soulmate here. So that was your clarification, I hope, verification also of the connection with the Libra. Like I said, I wasn't giving any energy to that other one. No, nothing personal against him. I just wanted to see, with what we were dealing. So to do a spread from the perspective of the universe, I'm beginning with Dating Queen, and we're starting off with this female, again, all in red. This could easily be you as well. And there's a party of three situation. So not unlike that which we've been discussing. And right away, we're opening to freedom, as in the need to break away from such things. Dating Queen. And long distance. With another indication of a party of three. This sailboat with three red sails on rocky water. Opposite this. That long distance card could also be talking about the distance between the two of you. Okay. And at the same time, opposite this Dating Queen, also again, opening simultaneously to both destiny and karma. I mean, if this doesn't say like divine union versus, karmic soulmate, I don't know what does, and we're looking at it opposite this. Dating Queen. And True Gem. True Gem can be about like a surprise sort of positive energy, if it's not a tangible surprise that you receive, just a pleasant, sudden, positive energy that comes in, maybe involving an air sign, maybe more specifically a Gemini, but a Libra will do. Dating Queen. Let me cut here. And it is past life. So this can be, speaking of issues from your past in this life, or things from a previous lifetime. In either case, they're probably connected. Like your past from this lifetime and your current life, very likely connected to your past life, at least as it relates to karma. Well, the angels aren't being very subtle at all. Your overall energy is triangle. Divine couple, recent past, near future, masculine's higher self, blocks to union, what the feminine can do to help herself, blocks to union or the individual's progress, and what the feminine can do to help herself with any of that, and what the masculine can, what the universe recommends to the two, but they will have to affirm it. And the outcome. Divine couple. Boom! Twin flame. Recent past mature woman. This can be reflective of the spiritual growth. We just started with that in the last spread. And so, coming to having matured. That's what growth equates to. And it could apply to him as well. Even though there's a female on the card. But I think it's more so about you. Near future. Karma. So some sort of something having to deal with, but that such as life. Masculine's higher self. Freedom. So him too, trying to break away from things that have been holding him back, restrictions. And it will be crossing whatever is the actual block. Let's see what that is. Brunette female. So there's some sort of you know, I'm getting that this can be, yes, it can be very like straightforward and a female to which he's connected, you know, in addition to you, whether that's romantically or not, but it's a block. And it can be more indirect, and this being representation of, you know, your other romantic interest and in his female, because that karmic situation is also a block to you guys. It is holding you back. The fact that you were still connected to it is in fact a block. And so we have it here crossing the karma. What the feminine can do, though, past love. Deal with these issues, you know, from your past. Also sitting underneath the twin flame card, past love takes on a different meaning. You know, it's sitting next to karma. It has one meaning, right? This is that the karmic soulmate. And then sitting underneath twin flame, because we're also past loves. You know, those of us in divine unions, that's a past love too. And from a past lifetime. So it's like dealing with both or facing each respectively. And, you know, doing what needs to be done. What the masculine can do, and here he is in his energy. This is Ice King. He can take authority over his own life. And so if there is somebody who's trying to run him around, whether it's, again, a romantic interest or a friend or his mother or you know, somebody like that, you know, he needs to take control back and, you know, be this authoritative emperor-like person. This card also shows up for me, not just with air signs, but with Leo, with Scorpios or an Aries, because the emperor represents the planet Mars, ruler of Aries and Scorpio. Also comes up for me representative of fathers or married men, divorced men, widowers, combinations of those. So he could have something to deal with again in that regard too. What the universe recommends to the two, but they'll have to affirm it as blonde female. And this is the representation in this deck of the divine feminine. So they're both directed to that, you two being that, right? To focusing on your role, and him to, you know, directing himself that way as well. And the outcome. Boom! The true gem, the legitimate relationship where there is value in the relationship, and where, you know, each individual is made to feel valued and realizes their worth and their deservingness. So their worth and their worthiness. Very nice. My angels here, I'm going to begin with a page of fire, who's outgoing, creative, confident, mischievous. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. The page of fire for me is usually a Sagittarius, but can also be, you know, a Leo like yourself, or even an Aries, especially if there's a younger one that we're talking about. Another indication of this party of three, the three of air, great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. Three of air. And the page of water. I told you, like, all kinds of characters, including water signs, were popping up. Intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. Also, there are heightened psychic abilities when this card shows up. Page of water, or court cards in general, can be representative of actual people. Not necessarily direct water sign, but that's always a possibility. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And of those, first and foremost, Pisces, the more youthful of the element and or a younger one. This can also just be an indication, because pages bring news, that there is some sort of news that will make you emotionally happy forthwith, maybe involving apologies. Or something that allows you to let go of any past pain or hurt associated with it. Three of Air. And the Ace of Earth. The inflow of abundance. A promising business venture and important documents or contracts. This is a new start, period. Three of Air. And the Ten of Water. This is you being happy, a contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met, and you have trustworthy relationships. Very nice. It's the Two of Water, a relationship that continues to go closer. Forgiveness. And also the positive resolution of a conflict. So remember I talked about death and your need to be, accepting of the energy of death, welcoming of the energy of death, and, to allow it to occur in your life. Well, death, or it's called releasing your death, but in this deck, but death nonetheless, Major Arcana card number 13, is indeed the overall energy here. The end of a phase or situation. Spiritual transformation. It is time to move on. Major Arcana card Death represents the sign of Scorpio. Crowning the masculine. It is Major Arcana card Unity with Archangel Sandalphon. Card number 5. Traditional viewpoints or methods. Spiritual organizations. Seek out mentors and like-minded friends. This card, the Hierophant, is about, sometimes making adjustments to your surroundings, the people, places, and things. With what you surround yourself, you may not align with those anymore. It's also about like breaking out of the box. You've been forced to behave a particular way and follow like certain ideologies because that's what society does, and try to keep up with tradition and social norms and all of that. And this is like a desire to break free usually when this card shows up. It's also a card of higher institutions and important documents and contracts and commitments, including marriage, contracts and things. Masculine, and represents the sign of Taurus, by the way. Masculine is surrounded by the Four of Earth, being too frivolous or too cautious with money. Good business decisions and giving to those less fortunate. It's not just with money. I mean, it can be connected to emotions too, and like holding on to someone or something too tightly, including yourself. Like holding back on yourself, restricting yourself, or giving of yourself too much to someone who's undeserving. Sitting here under the Hierophant, again, it can have to do with, there's somebody with whom you don't resonate anymore, and you need to stop giving them your energy. Like, for example, masculine subconscious. The Three of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. Three of Earth is representative of abundance that we have earned. Like if something that's coming to us, it's because, either our works as in labor on this plane, the 3D plane, or our, work for the universe on an ascended level has paid off. And so we've earned what's coming to us, good karma and all that kind of stuff. The Three of Earth, as with all threes, can also be potentially representative of some sort of party of three, maybe having something to do particularly with one's job or work, and or earth signs. Crowning you, it is Major Arcana card 8, Justice, fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. Major Arcana card Justice represents the sign of Libra. Your divine masculine's energy. Okay. And eights are all about, again, reaping what the fruits of our labor. Having, earned something, staying the course, staying on path, the universe, the angels recognizing that and blessing you with something. Also does call for you to do the right thing. And it could be connected to actual legality and things too. Surrounding the feminine is the Six of Fire, victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards. There is some kind of issue that you're looking to come out on top of. This, with the Six of Fire sitting underneath Justice could definitely be an indication that indeed happens for you. And in your subconscious, it's the Four of Fire, contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, and the successful completion of a project. So this is you being happy. Again, it can be an actual situation separate and apart from union, having to do with your home or your family, and maybe even a legal situation where you are victorious here, connected to some sort of asset maybe. Crowning the feminine, crowning the union rather, it is Major Arcana card Renewal or Judgment. Review and evaluate, a favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. Well, Judgment sitting here next to Justice and crossing the Six of Fire. Again, it's definitely coming out on top of the situation, benefiting. But like the Three of Earth, Judgment is also about abundance that one has earned. As it relates to relationships, it's about having come to a crossroad and needing to decide where do we go from here, if anywhere. And just about oneself. It's about not being too hard on yourself and judgmental or other people, and beating yourself up with guilt feelings and things. Just the need to let all that kind of stuff go. At the root, foundation, we're from where we're starting, and this is from where we're starting. That Three of Air, that pain that we went through. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. But look at all the stuff that happens when we overcome. And at the heart of the matter, the Magician. So this is the ability to do it all, to overcome in the first place and, make all our dreams come true. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. The Magician represents the sign of Gemini too, which is the, fellow air sign, sister air sign, and is all about manifesting what we want into our lives. Oh, masculine just got 2 cards over there. And again, I don't know what that's about. He needs more advice than you. Let me give you from the Romance Angels too. So for him, beginning with him, stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So he may feel, guilty again about the distance. Maybe I messed up and, it's too late or something to fill this gap. And, there's a need to remain positive and upbeat and to manifest the relationship back the way that he wants it. For you, very soon, if you clearly decide what you want, it will come to you now. So I think that's, again, between the 2 choices that you have, clearly deciding and clearly cutting away the other, letting it go, releasing it, maybe even getting some cord cutting, something done if you, need that and can't do it for yourself, and just really being definitively done with one or the other, or both, and choosing something new, but not trying to juggle or remain connected to a bunch of things at once. From the Universal Love Oracle to the masculine, it is inner child. So again, we have these communication centers being very, focused on. There could be something from his past with which he's dealing, maybe involving a water sign. Maybe one of his parents is a water sign, or I don't know if he has any children himself, but if so, maybe perhaps like their mother, because again, I said like there was water energy coming up. Or even a relationship of his past that, you know, he's never completely worked through either. And that, you know, we all carry like this baggage with us from our past. It could be combinations of all those things, you know, that have brought him to this place of where he needs to deal with these, with this inner child, face it. Yeah. And it's just showing up. Also, this card brings up the energy of air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and water signs as well. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. For you, from that same deck, there is fear. So maybe that's why you've been holding on like to like it's like a life vest, a life raft, you know. If I let go of this and then this doesn't work through, I'm going to drown. So I better hold on to, you know, anything I can. And that's not the way to approach it. So yeah, work on that fear. And again, that's something else that if you don't feel like, if you feel like you've been working, like I've been working on it, it's not going anywhere, or that you're unable to do it for yourself, and to release things like this, which cause the fear, you know, the sort of like, one causes the other, which came first, the chicken or the egg, then there are, you know, people that help with that. And, you know, different healing modalities, mechanisms for that. From the masculine, again, he got 2 of these cards. One is new love. So it could be love anew, renewed, as in like returned, better, broadened, strengthened, and young male. It's going to be his energy, youthful, lighthearted, free. That freedom card came up. This guy is here in the drop top, you know. That's when you let the wind blow through your hair and just feeling free on an open road. And if his energy isn't here yet already, this is to where he needs to get. And not letting himself be held back by, you know, other people's... I just felt like society's stuff coming here. Again, he wants to break away from some sort of tradition and do something different that makes him happy. For you, it is children. These can be literal, actual children, your children, his children. But, you know, more often than not, this is also a card that, you know, it's like similar to his and his new love. This can be for you about new starts. It's very Empress-like for me. The Empress is Major Arcana card 3 too, so it's another party of 3. It's about new beginnings. And again, this too can be all of those things. So it can be bringing up, you know, that there are children or a child involved. But there's ways to work, you know, with that and through that and around that, and that are healthy and positive for everybody. From the Angel Tarot, he also got 2. It is the Queen of Air. So here's his energy again. Independent experience, realistic and witty, objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in a situation. And it comes up with the 5 of Fire, which is a card of conflict and competition, envy. Often, you know, somebody trying to, they're mad, you know, at your blessings, and they're trying to get in the way and mess that up or compete for them. Competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. And it's often close friends and or family. And I include like exes and our children's, you know, other parent and all that stuff too in that. And for you, we've come full circle because we started with an energy of communication and we're ending on one. The 8 of Fire, events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over and many things are happening at once. The 8 of Fire is about the universe working behind the scenes on your behalf, as well as communication coming in. I hope that you enjoy your reading and that you find it helpful. Namaste, dear.